Hello, happy Fall Festival Day. I'm so glad that you joined us here on Build Your Best Life. I'm Coach Deborah, and I'm glad to have you here on Thursday Live with Coach Deborah. Tonight is the last night of our October broadcast and our Blueprint for Well-Being theme. And I hope that all of our topics this month have been a great asset to you, and you were able to share, and others could get the content that we have shared this month. Hey, what can I say? Our bodies are important, and it's important that we take care of them. So that's why I thought it would not be robbery to have a segment talking about the benefits of taking care of your well-being. Thank you so much for always tuning in, your likes and your shares. If you have not signed up for the Build Your Best Life Facebook page, please go ahead and do that so that I can see when you join. And if you are on my personal Facebook page, that does not tie in with the Build Your Best Life page. So I'll do that, and also subscribe to us on Build Your Best Life with Deborah D. Smith on YouTube. My topic today, as I had mentioned earlier, is friend or foe. Friend or foe. And I know you never know where I am coming from, but remember, this month it is all about well-being. So the friend or foe that I'm talking about today is fever. And I know I'm talking to different age groups, so people have different perspectives when it comes to talking about fever. And some of us, hey, the least bit of warmth that you feel when you touch your children, your grandchildren, you get anxious, you think something is wrong, and that may not always be the case. I know one of my daughter-in-laws is a physician, and I would just go bonkers when the kids got a slight fever, and I'm like, "Are you gonna take them to the emergency room?" And she'd be like, "No." But being in a relationship with her and then doing the research, I see now the difference in having a fever and having a fever. Sometimes it is something that can be serious, other times not so much. When in doubt, hey, pick up that telephone or head to that ER and do what you think is best if you don't know. But I am going to give you some tips today that will show you that fevers are not always our fault or against us doing damage to our bodies. Sometimes it is actually doing what it is supposed to do, because you got to think about it. God made us in a particular way. So some things we think are harmful is actually doing its work. So I did learn a lot. So talking about those fevers, again, researchers have found that elevated temperatures in your system or in your body sometimes is just regulating your immune system. Just regulating your immune system is not the sign that you have a serious medical condition. Now, of course, most of us know that a normal body temperature is 98.6. And I'm not going to get into it today, but we do know that depending on the type of thermometer you're using, you will get different readings. So like on infants, as an example, if you use a regular oral thermometer, a rectal thermometer, as well as put the thermometer under their armpits, you more than likely will get 3 different temperatures. So that is something that is important to know, because you may take it one way and think, oh my goodness, the baby's sick, or take it another way and not so much. My youngest heartbeats, when she initially started going to daycare, every time she would go to daycare, they'd be calling her mom, oh, she's sick, she warm, she got a fever. Mom go pick her up. Well, after she's going to pick up, of course, she's going to take her home, but she wouldn't have a fever. But she was used to having a nap at a certain time. Well, they don't give them their naps until 2 hours after her normal time. So she's sleepy, so she's drooping. She might start crying. Of course, if she starts crying, that body temperature rises, and they immediately say, oh, she's sick, she got a fever. So again, a fever does not necessarily mean that you're sick. And just because someone puts their hands on your face, on your forehead, that doesn't mean you always have a fever. Okay? Now, again, according to researchers, fevers are not always a danger sign. Something else may be going on. Mild fevers may indicate, again, that your immune system is just doing the work that it is supposed to do. So you feel slightly warm, but it's your body trying to fight off whatever is trying to attack it. So you're not getting so sick that it's going to impact you to the point that your fevers is going to keep rising. It's going to get elevated. You could go into a seizure or something of that nature. But a mild temperature may mean that your body is just doing its thing. It is doing its work. It is not a foe. It is actually a friend. Isn't that right, Dan? Now, elevated body temperatures trigger cellular mechanisms that start the immune system to take the appropriate action. And that, again, is trying to fight off those viruses and fight off those bacteria. To me, it's a good thing to know that all fevers or all warm bodies does not mean that you are sick, that you are harmful, that you are contagious. because I know that in most instances in schools, daycares, church nurseries, if you got a fever, you feel warm, you got to go. Don't come here, you got to go because you're contagious. But again, always remember, I'm not a doctor, so in the event that you have questions, you're not sure what you're supposed to do, that's right. Seek the advice of a medical professional. Now, I am going to, and I found some of these fascinating, but I'm going to go through it this time, some myths and some facts, myths versus facts on fevers. So get those pads and pens ready so you can jot some of these down. You can make sure that you share them with your children, your grandchildren, your friends. But let's get in here. All right. Now, many parents have false beliefs about fever. They think the fever will hurt their child. They worry, they lose sleep when the child has a fever. Think, hey, I have to sit here all night because if they have a fever, they're going to go into a seizure. So I've got to be here. Some people call this fever phobia. Hey, but if you worried, you worried. But in fact, as I stated before, fevers are harmless and often helpful. So let's talk about it. Myth. My child feels warm, so they have a fever. That's a myth. Children can feel warm for many reasons. Examples, they can be playing hard. As I mentioned earlier with Scarlett, if you're crying, your blood gets the flowing, you're going to turn red, you get hot. If the weather is hot outside, if you get extremely hot, of course, you're going to feel hot. Your body can give off heat. Your skin temperature should always return back to normal in 20 minutes. So if you got a child and for whatever reason they're having a tantrum, they may be trying to cut their teeth, they're upset and they're crying, they feel warm because they've been crying for a minute, they just upset, whatever. Try to get them calmed down. That temperature will normally subside in about 20 minutes. So if you want to be sure whether or not they have a temperature, don't just do this or whatever. Take their temperatures, and based on their ages, know that they're different. As I mentioned earlier, you do the rectal temperature 100.4. Okay, if it's oral, you might get 100.4 as well. But then if you do it on the armpit, it might be 99.4. So it's going to give you a slightly lower temperature. Okay. The next myth. All fevers are bad for children. The facts are fevers turn on the body's immune system. And this is going to help fight the body, help the body fight in different infections. A normal fever, earlier I said 98.6, but they say a normal temperature ranges from 100 degrees to 104 degrees. Okay. And even if your child is ill, that 100 to 104 still should be a safe temperature that you don't have to worry about them going into a seizure or anything of that nature. Okay. The next myth, fevers above 104 degrees are dangerous. They can cause brain damage. And that's the way I grew up, but I didn't even get to 104. If we got a temperature, it was like 102, we were on the way to the emergency room, or we were calling the doctor because we knew that child would go into a seizure that could possibly cause brain damage, trying to cool them down and get them somewhere to get assistance. And that again was like even at 102. The fact is that fevers with infections don't cause brain damage. Only temperatures above 108 degrees can cause brain damage. And that's according to medical professionals. That's not according to Coach Deborah. I'm not a medical professional. I have to keep saying that. But again, medical professionals state that a temperature has to be over 108 degrees for it to cause brain damage. And they said it's very rare for a body temperature to climb that high. I mean, something really extreme has to be going on. It says it only happens if the air temperature is very high. And as an example, a child that is left in a closed car. That car is closed, the outside temperature is hot, and their temperature can just skyrocket. And we know those, and we're not going to talk about those. Okay? Another myth. Anyone can have a seizure triggered by a fever. Just anyone. You got a fever? Hey, you have a seizure. Can't speak. Fact is, only 4% of children can have a seizure with a fever. And that's according to medical statistics, only 4%. Okay. Another myth, seizures with fever are harmful. I didn't see it in the research as I was doing the research, so I don't know if this means you have a fever and then you have a seizure, or you suffer with seizures on a regular basis and then you have a fever. But it stated that seizures with fever are harmful. The fact is that seizures are scary to watch, but they stop within 5 minutes. They don't cause any permanent harm. They don't increase the risk for speech delays, learning problems, or seizures without fever. So if you have your temperature, that temperature gets that high, you're in that 4% or it's up there, and you have a seizure, it should only last about 5 minutes. And that should not cause you to have seizures in the future. Okay. And to me, this stuff can be very, very scary. And I think each child is an individual. But to me, it is important to know what is factual and what is not. Because like I said, I always thought 102, that was just, oh my goodness. And according to today's guidelines, it's not. Okay, myth. All fevers need to be treated with fever medication. The fact is, fevers only need to be treated if they cause discomfort, that's making the child feel bad. But most fevers don't cause discomfort unless they go up to 102, 103. So a mild fever, which you'll find if you have a child that is teething, they seem to have an elevated temperature. But if it's not, and normally you can tell with them when they're teething with the drooling, and if the teeth are hurting, they have a tendency to mess with their ears because all they know is something up in here is hurting. So they'll begin to mess with the ears. And so you know what type medications are over-the-counter drugs that you use for the teething. And a lot of people use oral gel. Okay. Another myth, without treatment, fevers will keep going higher. So they're saying you feel you got a fever and you say, okay, I'm going to watch it and see if it go down. And somebody's going to say, they got a fever, you're not going to give me any medicine. And that would be me. And I'm told, no, I'm going to watch it for a minute to see. Because anytime you give a medication, it has drugs in it. And A lot of parents now, they don't want to give their kids medications or drugs if they don't have to, because a lot of them, and you know that by the television advertisement, have a lot of side effects. So they're saying without treatment, fevers will keep getting higher. They're saying that's wrong because the brain knows when the body is too hot. Most fevers from infection don't go above, again, 103 or 104. They rarely go to 105 or 106. While these are high fevers, they also are harmless ones. So, as you remember earlier, I said it's that 108. But if you like me, old school, you might get a little anxious and nervous if it gets gets up to 102 or a little past that. But the facts are, according to medical professionals, that the brain knows when the body is too hot. And most fevers from infections don't go above 103. And they may go slightly above that. If you just joined us, our topic today is friends or foe. And this is our last topic, Blueprint with Well-Being. And we're talking about fevers, what fevers can do to you. And we're at the point now we're talking about myths. What is myths and what are facts about fevers? Only have a few more, I think. Okay, another myth is with treatment, fever should come down to normal. With treatment, fever should come down to normal. The fact is, with treatment, most fevers come down 2 or 3 degrees. 2 or 3 degrees. So you have to know what temperature you're starting out with, and then understand that if you take medication, it's only going to go down 2 or 3 degrees. Myth: if you can't break the fever, the cause is serious. That's the myth. The fact is, fevers that don't come down to normal can be caused by viruses or bacteria. The response to fever medicines tells us nothing about the cause of the infection. So depending on what's going on, you may, the fever may hang in there for a couple of days or whatever. So that's why when you don't know, what do? You pick up the phone and you call your physician. If it's after hours, you know what to do. All right. Myth: once the fever goes down with medicines, it should stay down. That's a myth. The fact is, it's normal for fevers with most viral infections to last for 2 or 3 days. So if you got something going on in that body, then that fever is there. Remember that immune system kicks in. So it's trying to do its job. It's trying to work out and run that bacteria or virus out of your body, wear it down. So that temperature may not just go away like that, because that may take a couple of days. Your virus or infection, bacterial is not going to just go away overnight. Okay, myth: if the fever is high, the cause is serious. I already talked about that. I'm sorry. The exact number of the temperature is very important. That's a myth. The fact is, how your child looks and acts is what is important. The exact temperature number is not. Because like I said, we all are different. We can tolerate things at a different level. And you will get to know your child and how to react to different temperatures. And you may take that child's temperature as 102, but 30 seconds ago, they were just running around the table doing flips and somersaults. So some of that temperature has to do with their activity that they were performing. Okay. And the last one, myth: oral temperatures between 98.7 and 100 are low-grade fevers. Oral temperatures between 98.7 and 100 are low grade. The fact is, these temperatures are normal. They're not low grade fevers. The body's normal temperature changes throughout the day. Never knew that. It peaks in the late afternoon and evening. So a true low-grade fever is 100 to 102. So that's something else that I learned in the research. Your temperature fluctuates during the day. So just remember, don't panic and get stressed out. If the temperature is 101, 102, because many times at that temperature, your body is just doing its work to get rid of that temperature, to fight off that bacteria, whatever is going on. So it is not serious. So it is being your friend at that time. So I hope that this information is something that can help, because you have to keep in mind that fever is fighting the infection. It's being a friend, not a foe. So I hope the information has been helpful. Please make sure that you share. And again, don't forget, just because I won't be talking about it next month, don't forget that your body is your temple, and it is important to take care of every aspect of your body. Your mental health, your physical health, your joint health, your blood health, all your vital organs, everything. So take care. All right. Next month of November, our theme is Blueprint for Gratefulness. And on Saturday, our first topic is going to be gifts. So I hope that you will join us. Please remember that we are declaring Jeremiah 29:11 over your lives, because God wants you to have prosperity and the future that you hope for. So please write out your plan, your blueprint for success based on the plans that God has for you. Put in the work and build your best life. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. And I will be looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. Please hang on a little while, and before you just check out on me. But I hope to see you on Saturday. Bye-bye.
Build Your Best Life, Incorporated, with Coach Deborah, invites you to attend our 2024 Grateful Conference, Monday, November 11th through Thursday, November 14th. This year's theme is Blueprint to Show Gratefulness. Nightly presenters are Monday, November 11th, William Manimi. Tuesday, November 12th, Evangelist Catherine Trotter. Wednesday, November 13th, Jocelyn Charles. Thursday, November 14th, Coach Ricardo Miller. These leaders are professionals from all walks of life. They will enlighten everyone on their words of blessings and gratitude. Please join us nightly Monday, November 11th through Thursday, November 14th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can view these motivating and captivating messages live on the Build Your Best Life Facebook page and YouTube channel. Please mark your calendars to ensure you don't miss these powerful messages and reflect on what you are grateful for. This time of highlighting service, giving back, survival, and appreciating even the little things will bring hope and love to all. You don't want to miss this year's Grateful Conference, Blueprint to Show Gratefulness. In addition, Build Your Best Life looks forward to blessing a young man and a single mother who is raising a son during this event. Visit our website at www.buildyourbestlife.org for more information. Or send your tax-deductible gift to PayPal, me, BYBLWDDS30.